Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs as we count down to Christmas. Whether it's to get your home decorated or you do this as a business and you need supplies in stock, you can give them a call, 631-957-5106. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, serving the entire New York's tri-state area and beyond. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. And then swing on over about a mile away to Omni True Value Hardware and get your rock salt. And they've got plenty of rock salt there at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere in the New York City tri-state area and beyond. They're at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. You can put in your order by giving them a call at 631-756-1125, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. We've got a busy night of weather ahead. I want to highlight some of the warnings that are up and advisories. First off, for coastal Southern Connecticut, back to about New York City and including all of Long Island, and then extending also down along the New Jersey coast. We have wind advisories that are up for winds that will probably gust to between 40 and 50 miles an hour. And south of Atlantic City to Cape May, and then over into coastal Delaware to the Maryland state line, we have a high wind warning where winds will definitely gust over 50 miles an hour. In fact, we've already seen some there. Lots of coastal flood warnings from central New Jersey on southward, and that includes all the water from Delaware Bay that backs up into the Delaware River. That coastal flooding could run pretty far north up the Delaware River, which is why we have coastal flood warnings up as far inland and west that you see there on the map. And also around Chesapeake Bay, we want to note that this could be some of the worst flooding in nearly 20 years here as far as coastal flooding is concerned, as the water backs up into Chesapeake Bay. We've had this persistent onshore flow pretty much all week long, and the water's just been piling up now, and we're also beginning to move away from the low point in the tide cycle. So it's all spelling problems. A strengthening east wind is going to make things a lot worse for those areas. We have some coastal flood advisories also for southwestern Suffolk County and southern Nassau County on Long Island. And again, with that southeast wind, or east to southeast wind, it could be a big problem. Just looking at some 4 o'clock observations, looking at wind gusts that are already showing up on the order of 40 to 50 miles an hour along the Delaware coast. We have Atlantic City gusting to 43, Beach Haven in New Jersey to 36, and in and around Long Island, seeing some wind gusts now, Kennedy Airport at 35. It's a little lower on the east end and along the Connecticut shore, some gusts of 20 to 25. But again, it's going to pick up to about gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour. Certainly possible here this evening and through the first part of tonight as the pressure gradient tightens and a storm system is to our west. This is not going to be a nor'easter. It's going to be more like a sou'easter or an easter as far as the wind direction is concerned. And look at the size of this storm. Now, this is a very powerful upper air storm. The surface storm itself is not all that strong. It's very broad. The circulation of this covers the entire eastern half of the United States, and you clearly can see the counterclockwise rotation with it covering just about everybody up and down the eastern seaboard, and the cloud line goes all the way back west of the Mississippi River. So we're talking a lot of geography here that is getting impacted by this storm system. And here's the first arm of rain that is moving up the coast. We've got some moderate to heavy rain that's occurring over Maryland and Delaware. Much of the echoes there are moving more northerly or even northwesterly. I think the rain tonight is not going to be a huge problem because it's going to be stretched out through the entire night. We could wind up with maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain during the overnight. We don't have any flash flood watches up for that reason. And then there'll be a break and then a second round of rain probably Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. And I think mainly that will impact areas of the coastal counties of New Jersey, for example, the Hudson Valley east of the Hudson River, and then points east into southern New England. The further west you go on Saturday, probably less of a rain threat or perhaps only some scattered showers. So this big system is just kind of spinning away here. It's at its peak intensity now. The upper feature is actually going to be weakening. We've got this block in the east that's finally breaking down. Otherwise, the rest of the country is dry except for what's going on in northern Idaho, western Montana, and back down into Oregon. The Storm Prediction Center's got a marginal risk of severe weather for eastern Virginia, Maryland, eastern Maryland, and that marginal risk also covers southern Delaware and the rest of the Delmarva Peninsula, as well as eastern North Carolina. General thunderstorm risk running up to about New York City. And in that marginal risk zone, there is a small 2%, relatively small 2% chance that they could see a tornado or two spin up. The total rainfall for the next 7 days, and much of what we're going to see in the next 7 days is coming now and tomorrow. So you're seeing some big rainfall amounts in northern Virginia, south central and southeastern Pennsylvania. Also, you're seeing them in New England, down to eastern Long Island, but everybody else in between, anywhere, let's say, between 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches. Maybe there might be the odd spot that pushes that number up to about 1.5 inches. So the block is breaking down, and there you see the upper high. I've just rolled it back to Thursday. The big upper high that is sitting up in eastern Canada, that forced that storm from a couple of days ago to go out underneath us and strengthen. This one would be doing the same were it not for the fact that that block is collapsing, and that allows this trough that's coming down out of Canada to pick this up and take it northward, more inland than offshore. And that's a very important distinction in terms of the kind of weather we're going to get out of it. If it were going out to our south, it certainly would be a lot more problematic. And once it goes by to our north, which will happen Saturday night and early Sunday, I think we could see weather conditions improve during the day on Sunday as winds go northwest. And it could be one of those days that we have decreasing clouds and maybe increasing amounts of sun. We could possibly even go partly sunny through most of the area by the time we get to the middle part of the day. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. And then next week, for the first time this autumn season, we have a cold-looking weather pattern. We've got a ridge in the western part of the United States and a deep trough here, relatively deep trough here in the eastern part of the United States, and that has created a connection to bring down colder air from northern Canada and bring it into the eastern part of the United States. And that pattern is going to hold pretty much all week. We're going to see our temperatures trend next week downward in kind of a stair-step fashion, a little bit at a time. So I'll run you through, let's run through what the models are showing here. I've got a close-up view of the GFS, and we'll switch over to the, let me get the radar here on there. And this is what the radar looked like at 2 o'clock. By 8 o'clock tonight, you can see the extent of the rain. It's not a whole lot of distance from the northern part to the southern end of it. And where the heaviest rain is, some cells being depicted in the yellow. That lifts up. This is 1 a.m. on Saturday. Areas to the south, just some scattered showers. And then we're going to watch another wave come up during Saturday afternoon and evening. You see it there off the New Jersey coast. It does try to push rain back during the afternoon into New Jersey. As we said, the Hudson Valley, maybe to about the Hudson River, or perhaps a little bit further to the west from there. And then that low moves up into eastern Connecticut Saturday night. And then as it moves away on Sunday, we'll get that northwest wind to kick in. And keep your fingers crossed that we get decreasing clouds and maybe we can go partly sunny in the afternoon. Monday looks dry. Got a weak weather front coming through on Tuesday that's going to help to bring in some chillier air. And then there's another front that's going to follow later on next week. We don't see any big storms here on the horizon. So I think much of this week we'll probably not see much in the way of precipitation. And we'll be watching late next week some kind of low moving across the southeast, and we'll see if the models try to take that and bring it up the East Coast for next weekend. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see on that. The Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town on anything you need to get through this winter. OmniTrueValue.com, the website. Wholesale holiday lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, 631-957-5106. So exercise some caution tonight if you're in the areas that are dealing with wind advisories and or coastal flood advisories or coastal flood warnings. We've got rain, of course, for the overnight into Saturday morning early, maybe a bit of a break, and then another round of rain Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. No Joe and Joe weather show until Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.